Now, ladies and gents, my doctors really, really tried to help. You know, Dr. Sokur would stand there and, you know, he would spend time with me. He would really try and figure out how can we help get rid of these symptoms. And I could see he was battling, he was sending me home. He says, I cannot give you any more Solumedrol. With your weight right now, that's all I can offer you. You know, and he'd send me home. I'd be more sick than when I came in, because the side effects of the Solumedrol were hectic. Now, here's something that's quite interesting. Rajan discovered from his research with multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis entered the medical textbooks in 1868. It was Dr. Jean-Martin Charcot that examined, did an autopsy on a patient who presented with similar symptoms, and he found the lesions that we refer to today. And the symptoms that he described in 1868 was exactly the symptoms that we use today to describe the condition. So ladies and gents, 152 years since we first found out about MS, with all the advancements in medical science, we still have no idea what causes the condition and no idea how to cure it. And, you know, going in and out of hospital, there must have been, I don't know, about 10 times in and out with Solumedrol. The one time when I was diagnosed with secondary progressive MS, nothing was working. I left the hospital here, and I went to Johannesburg to Professor Modi, and we started treatment again. And I remember the nurse there battling to get a line up. So she, you know, had the needle stuck in all over, and there was just no blood coming through. And eventually she said, well, I need to get the matron. And she walked out, and my brother walked into the room. And all he saw was these injections all around me. And he burst out crying. And to me, it was like nothing mattered anymore. You know, do what you want to do to me. I can see that I'm not going to get better. And at this point, you know, when I discovered that the pharmaceutical industry is not winning this, you know, they are not giving my doctors the tools that I needed to get better, that we needed to do something else. And that's when I started looking at conscious healing for print. So we started asking questions. Why is the body not healing? I wanted to know, why is my body attacking itself? Why is it so angry? It's such a sophisticated system within my body. What did I do that made it so angry to attack my joints, to attack my myelin sheath, to attack my thyroid gland? What exactly is happening here? I wanted to know, what did the experts miss? Because I was going to the best of the best in the field, and every single one told me there's nothing more you can do. So Raj and I started looking at the body in a different way. And we said, okay, let's start at the beginning. Where, you know, the way the medical books look at the human body. Now I must say a huge thank you for what medicine does in an acute situation. We have an accident, you know, you fall, you break your leg. In any acute flare-up, allopathic medicine works like a bomb. Nothing comes close to it. It really brings relief. But now, an allopathic medicine looks at the body, you're looking at structures, you're looking at the different systems, you're looking at all of this coming from when you examine the cadaver, you're studying it, you're looking at the different nutrients, what the composition of the body in terms of what you can see. And this is a model that really, really helps us when in an acute situation. But I'm sure you will all agree that this acute model cannot be used in a chronic condition. Because your patients come back after 6 months, and all you're doing, you're changing your dosage, or you're adding another medication to it. You know, you're trying to bring relief to them. When they come in a flared-up situation, the program works. But to continuously use it is another story. So I looked at the people that medical science are familiar with. I looked at things Hippocrates said. And that's one of the things he did say was, let food be thy medicine and let medicine be thy food. So we started to look at food. Albert Einstein said, everything in the universe is in a state of vibration. Every flower, every rock, every cell in the human body has its own color, its own sound, and its own vibrational frequency. So I started to look deeper into what Albert Einstein said. Nikola Tesla is one of our greatest inventors. He said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So I did. So taking what these gentlemen had said, I started to look at the human body slightly different. And I discovered from quantum physics that there is far more to the human body than what we are seeing in our medical textbooks. The human body is sound. We are sound vibration. The human body entrains with sound. You feel it. You know, if you happen to walk into a room and a couple is screaming at each other, you feel the energy immediately. The sound that we produce, the sound vibrational of words, impact the human body. The entire universe is held together by sound. This is what string theory has proved. This is what Hawkins has agreed with, that the human body is made of sound. The human body is made up of color. We can now see this color using Kirlian photography. What's very interesting about the color that they photograph, it's in the order of the rainbow that we see up in the sky. It's exactly that order. And each color has a certain vibrational frequency. The human body is energy. The human body is frequency. The human body has electricity in it. I'm sure you all agree with that. I mean, we look at chemical reactions, the 2 plus, the 1 minus, it is electrical all the time. Now, these centers in the human body are nothing more than step-down transformers in this electrical circuit of the human body. The human body is made out of love. Okay, you will all agree with that. When the patient is sad, the patient is down, healing is difficult. When the patient feels love, the patient feels joy, healing is speeded up. We are vibration. Now, when the brain, you will all agree, the brain is the processing, is the center of intelligence in the human body. Now, when you have to improve how the brain functions, who's doing the improving? It's consciousness that is doing it. There is consciousness in the human body. There is intelligence within every cell of the body. I mean, look at right now while we are sitting here together, our body is pumping blood throughout kilometers of veins, of arteries. And it's doing all of this with independent of what we are thinking, feeling, and every chemical reaction happening in the body right now. It's happening, it's synchronized. There are about 3.2 billion nucleic acids in one cell in the human body. There are more nucleic acids. I mean, we have enough nucleic acids to go to the sun and back 150 times. There is something that assembled me that has a power greater than I do. It has a will greater than I do. And this power, this intelligence within the human body is far more superior than anything I can ever do consciously on my own. And all I needed to do was get out of its way with my negative thinking, my toxic foods, and my toxic lifestyle choices. And that intelligence within the human body will allow the healing to happen. Now, ladies and gents, that's what's sitting in the human body. Why is it our medical textbooks do not talk about this? That's a question we all need to ask ourselves today. Because not having this in the medical textbooks, it's what's causing the gap in your treatment. Is what's allowing you to tell your patients you are diagnosed with an incurable condition. I mean, Rockefeller and his team, that, you know, the pharmaceutical giants, when they put their syllabus together, they didn't want things like this because you cannot put it into a capsule. So they were not interested in this, but they were very influential in terms of what we were learning. Now, Rudolf Tanzen, he's a professor of neurology at Harvard University. He wrote a book called The Superbrain. unleashing the power of the human mind. And he stated that our brain can process about 400 billion bits of information per second. And we are aware of only 2,000 of this. These 2,000 bits of information have to do with just the body, the environment, and time. How I'm feeling, is my stomach hurting, is my back sore, is it too hot, is it too cold, how much longer is Marla going to speak for? That's all the awareness is focused on. The body, the environment, and time. Now, if we could in some way shift our consciousness and awareness away from the body, the environment, and time, we are not governed by the laws of the body, environment, and time. Now, when we have the ability to do this, if you are able to do that, you then open the door to walk onto a quantum field. So we started to ask the question, is there a possibility for the human body to have access to its pharmacy within it? Looking at all the intelligence of the human body, surely there's a way that we can release the happy chemicals, the chemicals in charge of the healing, the endorphins, the oxytocin, the serotonins. And that's a question Roger and I were asking. Now, in order to do this, we realized that beliefs play a huge role. Our thoughts, intentions, and beliefs are what is the key that needs to go into the ignition when it comes to healing a chronic condition. There's enough information out there today that states this. So we dug deeply into this. Where's it coming from? Biology of belief, this is Dr. Bruce Lipton. He says that your beliefs are like the filters on a camera that changing how you see the world and how your body adapts to your beliefs. He's done a lot of work, and I attended his conference where he showed how changing your thoughts is changing your biochemistry. Now here's something that really cemented it for me, that beliefs change our biochemistry. The placebo. All of you seated here today are familiar with the placebo. And I was so intrigued with the fact that you can take a sugar pill, a saline injection, and give it to a patient and tell them it's the actual drug, and they will release a pharmacy of chemicals within the body to match the drug that they are having to actually give them relief. Exactly like the drug. Very common in drugs used for antidepressant drugs. And I said, now if the human body can do that, just from thought alone, just from thinking, that intention that I'm going to get better, this is a good drug, this is what I need, that the body can do that, surely I can create a way to convince my body that we need to start this healing process. What's very intriguing here is the nocebo effect. Those patients that were told when they're given these drugs are also told the side effects of the medication. And those that were given the sugar pill produced the side effects of these drugs. So that's such an interesting thinking now. So, when we leave the doctor's rooms, the neurologist's rooms, being told that you have an incurable condition, what is that doing to my biology? So I had to rethink and revisit those negative thoughts sitting in me, because I figured out that is now halting my healing process. And then I dug deeper, and I said, okay, how can I optimize the conditions within my body for this intelligence to start to kick in and give me healing? And I looked at the two survival systems in our body. We have the immune system that's protecting us on the inside, and as you all know, the fight, flight, freeze system on the outside that's protecting us from danger on the outside. You are familiar with that both these systems consume a lot of energy in the body, and hence it's antagonistic. Both systems cannot function simultaneously. So I became very aware that when my system is in a fight, flight, freeze mode, healing shuts down. The immune system is shutting down. Rest and repair is shutting down. So I said, okay, let's find out exactly what's happening in terms of stress in the body. I looked at the HPA axis, and I wanted to find out what can I do to take my body out of a stress situation. When it comes to stress, it's the sympathetic nervous system that is kicking in. That's obviously preparing our body for fight, flight. And the parasympathetic nervous system is the system that's now is rest, repair, heal, rest and digest. And like I said, they both are antagonistic. So I became very clear, riddled with symptoms, that I need to get my body into a parasympathetic space. And it was very interesting to note that this fight, flight, freeze response is a response that is triggered by our thought. When we feel fear, when we feel that anxiety, the body automatically switches this on. Okay, it shuts down, puts prefrontal cortex activity at the background. It moves the blood away from the viscera to the hands and legs so you can run away. I realized that wasn't optimum space for me to heal. You're all familiar with what's happening in a stress scenario. Your heart rate is speeding up, blood flow to the hands and legs, your digestion stops, the immune system is not prioritized, the muscle tenses up, you are breathing faster, the oxygen is going more to the muscles, it is not focused on rest and repair on the inside. So I looked at each one and I said, I need to find a way to teach my body not to be in that space. And hence, that was plan A. I must tell you, throughout my marriage, I would always tell Raj, and I cannot believe we are together. You know why God brought us together? We are just completely two different human beings. Our likes are different, our backgrounds are so different. And ladies and gents, with my diagnosis, I realized why God made me marry this man. Rajan was the one who did the research. I'll never forget that night when he was giving me my evening meds. It was so much of medication, I didn't fit in one hand. I had to hold out both the hands to take the meds. And he counted it, and there was 23 tablets in my hand. And with tears running down his cheeks, he said, Mala, when are you going to realize that the drugs are not working? And I said, Raj, what else do you want me to do? He said, you have so much of knowledge on the body. We need to rethink this. Come on, I will help you. Let's try and figure out another way, because this way is not working. So we sat down together, we had discussions at home, and he started asking me questions about what I had learned, all the different healing modalities that I had learned after leaving medical school. And we started putting things together. The very important thing he asked me to do is to start writing down how I felt every day, the foods I was eating every day, the thoughts I was having every day, the people I was associating with, who would phone me, and how would that make me feel. And putting all this together, we started doing extreme things at home. We tried cryotherapy. In winter, at 4 o'clock in the morning, I jumped into the pool and I tried to stay in there for 3 minutes. And he was standing there with the stopwatch, and I thought, you know what, the stopwatch stopped working, because that 3 minutes felt so long. Being in the pool, I actually felt, after a few minutes, a kick happening on the inside of me, like a rush of nutrients, I think, going to all my cells. Something was happening in the water. And doing that, the RA pain cleared. So something was working there. But I didn't like being in the pool, and I said, no, let's find something else, please. We started doing things like a water fast in order for me to figure out the foods, because let food be thy medicine. I did a water fast for 4 days, and we started introducing the different foods one by one. We researched on the internet people that had the condition that were getting better, and we looked at the foods that affected them, so we started with those and we threw those out immediately. All of these are detailed in the book. So doing all the research, Raj and I came up with a plan. We came up with a formula for wellness. It is called a Take Charge Wellness Formula. What this mathematical formula says is wellness equals love. That is healing the heart. Because when the patient is sad, there is no healing. Plus a change in food. We need to get rid of all the junk that was going into my body. Plus a change in thought, because we needed to get rid of the negative thinking. We needed to get rid of the thinking that was activating the sympathetic nervous system that was teaching the body to go into fight, flight, freeze. We needed to bring in activity because the human body is meant to move. And we had to multiply this by discipline and motivation. This, for many patients, is a very, very difficult space to be in. I must tell you, in order to get all of this working, there has to be discipline. And Rajan really brought that to the table. My diet was a very, very disciplined, very strict one. And he said, Mala, I will eat what you eat. And he did it. When I wanted to cheat, he would sit there and not eat the food that I wanted to cheat with. You know, I wanted my roti. I wanted my pizza. And he would go, pizza or legs, you choose. And that's what the situation I was in. And most important, ladies and gents, in this formula are the triggers. There's no point in putting all the good stuff in when you are still adding in the triggers. And we had to figure out these triggers all on our own. And it is detailed in the book. From my research, I found that these triggers are common to most autoimmune diseases. So something I want to discuss a little bit more in detail is the change in thought, exactly what that is doing to our body.